When the Holy Spirit tells you to write down some words and make it a book, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. You follow that prompting. That's the story with my next author. Her name is Sally Breeze Green, and she wrote, lo and behold, A Christmas Story. Welcome, Sally.
Hi, Suzanne. I've been looking forward to this.
Well, me too. I mean, when you get prompted from the Holy Spirit at 3 o'clock in the morning and you follow, you get up and you do what he says. I want to hear this story. Share with me that experience of being woken up in the middle of the night to write your book.
Well, I've been awakened at 3 in the morning many times, and they say many people say that's the witching hour, but to me, that's sort of that's the time. He wakes me, and this time, and many years ago, he said, "Get up and write this down." And I thought, well, I've never had that happen before. And so I got up and went in my little office and got my pen out and my paper and wrote out this little story about the little bitty angels and how they got involved with Gabriel and bringing the word of Jesus' birth to the world. And I've been a Christian all my life, and so this was not a new story. Of course, everybody knows the story, but it came out really, I thought, pretty cute. The next morning, I read it and thought, well, that might that might be a good thing to get out in the world for such a time as this. And so I, of course, sent it in and got rejected many times, as typical when you try to be an author.
Yeah.
And so I just made up a little copy of it for my kids and left it on the shelf until about last year, I guess 2019. I saw an ad on TV saying Christian Faith Publishing was looking for stories. So I sent it in and I was amazed. They said, "Oh, we love it. We want to publish it." And I almost fainted.
That is wonderful. What a great, and you said it wrote itself, right?
It did. It just came out of my pen. Just, I have no other way to explain it.
Oh,
Uh,
that
I
is
wasn't,
that is God writing for you what needs to go down. Is the main message of your book the birth of Christ, but seen through these angels that's easily relayed to children, or is this for adults?
yeah. Well, it was mainly for kids, but I think the adults who now have read it to their kids have gotten a lot out of it themselves. So that pleases me. It's reaching other people as well as just little children. And the artwork was done by my grandniece,
Oh,
which uh, which was another God thing. I was searching madly for somebody to do the illustrations, and my nephew came to visit me one day, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I told him about this little book, and he said, "Well, why haven't you called my daughter? She does illustrations for children's books."
oh goodness. What does it mean sharing the gospel with the world in this way? What's that mean to you?
Well, at my age of 86, I'm never going to be an evangelist, that's for sure. And so to be able to get a little book like this, and now it's been in book fairs now all over the world, which is a real thrill. Uh, and somebody said, "Well, how do you feel? It's in London and Frankfurt and
Wow.
wherever," and I'm going, "Well, it's hard to believe. It's just one
Yeah.
of those God things that happens, and I have no explanation for it except it's His, and He's taken and run with it."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the other books that you've written. Have they been Christian books?
Yeah, yeah. I wrote a little. It's kind of a value book. It's called Georgie the Big Fish Tale, and that was published in 2021. Same place. And then I have another one that's in print now. They're working on getting it out. Should launch next week, and that's called "Put a Tiger in Your Tank," relating to the Holy Spirit in your life, and also focused towards kids, so that they get an easier feeling of what it's like to call God into their lives and be filled with the Spirit.
That's really important, isn't it? So let's talk about the reason that you get these stories published. I mean, the Holy Spirit is just giving you these stories
Yeah.
and you're being very obedient in getting them published. Talk to me about that.
Well, I guess it's a lot of it has got to do with my free time now. My husband passed away a year and a half ago,
Mm,
so I got a lot of free time. And so I thought, well, what better use than to maybe be able to evangelize from my chair through these little books. I have no idea who's going to read them, if anybody's going to buy the book or what. But my job is
mm,
to get it out there, you know.
yeah,
And like I said, for such a time as this, because the world is in need of some encouragement, especially the little kids.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Bring them to Jesus. Share with me about the history of your career and your life. What brought you to this point?
Well, my husband and I had a petroleum consulting business for 40 years
Mm.
together. And so I at least learned how to type on the computer and try and run from DOS to Microsoft. It's been a journey.
Yeah, yeah.
At 80, I'm 86, and
Wow.
I keep thinking, holy moly!
Holy moly, when did this happen?
You'll have to edit that. Um, anyway, after we retired in 2019, his health really failed badly,
Mm,
and 2 years later, of course, he's in heaven now,
yeah,
and so I'm trying to use what time I have left to be useful. You're not called to retire from life of sharing the word, and so I try my best in what little capacity I have,
yeah.
from my desk chair to write notes to people of encouragement. Somebody said, "Well, you sound like a female Barnabas," and I said, "As long as you don't call me a barnacle, we're all right."
I'll go with Barnabas.
I'll
That's
go with
good.
that. I do want to tell you that the name of the book, Lo and Behold, had an interesting background. It came from my father in law. One day we got into this big discussion. He wanted to know if I knew the two most famous angels in the Bible. And I said, "Well, sure, Michael and Gabriel."
Gabriel. Yeah.
And he said, "No, no, no, it's Lo and Behold." And I said, "What?" And so he says, "Well, don't you remember it always said, Lo, the angel of the Lord said." And so I named my little angels Lo,
Lo and
and
behold.
that's the little girl, little brother and sister, Lo, and then Behold was the brother.
That is
And
so
yeah,
adorable.
it was so fun.
That's
I,
great.
I
Almost
dedicated
little
it in his memory.
inside humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sally, what do you hope that not just the children will understand about your books, but when adults are reading it to them that might not have have been raised in the church or a firm grasp of Christ
Yeah.
being the way to heaven, what do you hope that that message is that's getting just planted into the hearts of everybody hearing your words?
Well, that's, I guess, what he says: plant the seed and don't worry about it. I will water it and grow it. And it's not my job to do
Yeah.
that, as long as I get the story out and the value in the little Georgie book.
Mm,
Same kind of thing is, you follow your heart,
yeah.
and you get what the desires of your heart, especially when you're doing it for somebody else. And
Yeah.
that was the story of Georgie and his grandpa and the big fish. And then the put a tiger in your tank came from that old SO uh, slogan. You remember that? I don't know if
Oh,
you're old enough to remember
yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I do. Yes.
Now that came out of a dream life too, which actually went into a sermon. I did some lay preaching for a number of years, and that was one of the first sermons I preached. Was put a tiger in your tank. It was on Pentecost, and I thought that was a suitable title. It's a
Absolutely.
catchy title. I think it'll
It's
fit
very
the script.
visual, creates a picture for sure.
It
That
does.
theater
It
of the
does.
mind.
And the the little artist, my niece, she's done a wonderful job capturing my feelings of the narrative.
Yeah.
We've had a really good collaboration, and it pleases me to be able to get her artwork out there in the world where somebody might see it and say, "Oh, wow, I bet I could call her and have her do my book." You know,
Sure.
so it's kind of a twofold thing for me.
And do you have more books in you?
Well, right now I'm doing a compilation of the sermons. So the publisher said they were interested in seeing it. And I said, well, I'll send you one plus a picture that she's going to send along with it that captures the title to use as kind of page dividers,
Oh, sure.
and maybe that'll catch their attention to follow up and read the sermon, which follows.
Wow.
It's been fun to go back and read my own work and say, well, it's the truth of the gospel is still there, even
Yeah.
though it's been a few years. We'll see how that goes.
God's leading the way. And clearly you're open to his guidance by getting up at 3 o'clock and writing stories. And I'm here, Lord. I'm here to do what you tell me. So
My
thank you,
husband,
Sally.
I did just want to say one thing.
Yeah, please.
My husband did some work in Uganda,
Yeah.
and he said, I have no skills, but I am available. So I've tried to
Wow.
hang on to that. Now, as my life goes on, I am available.
My goodness, that what a
Yeah,
great way to end the interview. Lord, I am available.
yeah.
Sally, you just what a warm, beautiful, loving spirit you have. We can feel it coming through the audio and the video. So thank you so much. We want to thank EC Publishing for making this possible. And your book
Indeed.
is available on Amazon and most of the places that you're looking for books. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Very good. Sally,
I
have a
have a,
great day.
thank you.
Yes.
I have a website too. That's on the, I guess that's on the,
It's on the screen, but we've got
so,
people listening to the
oh,
radio. Please share that verbally. What's your
okay.
website?
Well, it's a lot of words. SallyBreezeGreenBooks.com.
SallyBreezeGreenBooks.com. We
Yeah.
got it.
Thank
Sally,
you.
have a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you.